There are a million stories in the naked city, and that's just counting the people without clothes. Behind every facade there's a fable. Behind every window a curtain, hiding nefarious deeds. Behind every wall there's a saga, grander and more squalid than any soap opera writer could ever possibly extract from his weary word processor. And here in Sydney's Chinatown you can discover some of this wicked city's most infamous and intriguing enterprises.
Have you any idea what's in this building? Thank you. Excuse me, what's in this building? Thanks very much. Thank you. What's in this building? No idea. Should you two be seen together? Yes. We're not doing something we should do. No. You don't know what's in this building? No. Not a clue. They haven't a clue, and they're allowed to be seen together.
2W, 2UW, 2KY, 2...
So you got the two right.
2UW?
No. So close.
2GB.
Yeah. Have you any idea what's in this building?
Not sure. I think it's Triad headquarters or something.
Thank you.
Excuse me, madam. Do you know what's in this building, do you?
Financial companies.
She's no funny, she knows. Hello, Robertson here. I've been thinking about summer. I live for summer. I know it sounds pathetic, but do you remember, if you're roughly my age, early 30s, you remember the early 60s when it was all beach? Remember all that, the beach movies with Enna Funicello and all those dreary American people? But we loved them, and we all went down to the beach, and all the rock stations had their little OB vans there giving away little vinyl 45s. We thought it was terrific. You put a bit of white on your face. No one knew anything about melanomas. No one knew anything about anything. You had to be black. Otherwise you just weren't cool. Luckily we've grown older, I think. It's lucky. Now we know you go to the beach, you get melanomas and you die. And we realise now that getting brown isn't really as good as it was. There are no more OB vans left, no more 45s left, but we have our memories. And one of the joyous things about Sydney is summer. Sydney and summer. The whole place comes alive. It's terrific. Well, let's ignore the BO. But just accept the fact that Sydney and summer go well together. And if it does bring back memories, it doesn't matter. That's one of the joys of growing old. So, what a summer selection we have for you. And might I mention, it's actually for me. But the only way to push it through is to say it's good for everyone, and Les said, okay. I've got to say, I've been listening to overseas radio and reading the news and discussing man's inhumanity to man, a cliche which I'd rather not use, for so long, I'm going crazy. But there are some people in the world, they change their craziness to make us laugh, and we have a thing called, and what a wonderful title, The World of Comedy, every Sunday between 10 and 11. I think the whole of Sunday is just going to hold on to this little bit of humour. And ladies like Rita Rudner, who I met, who's just a lovely American creature with this whimsical way of speaking, who gets a sense of proportion about men. Men have none. I mean, we're just blokes, aren't we? We just are. But she has little ideas about what really is wrong with us, and we sort of think, you could be right. There's an example of Rudner.
I do think men should be married, though, because men don't live well by themselves. They don't. They don't even live like people. They live like bears with furniture.
She has got style, hasn't she? And she's never crude. A crude woman is not an attractive object. Now, so that's the comedy bit. I do that on Sunday mornings, and I'm happy to do that. I mean, why the hell should I sleep? Who am I? Good question. Now, of course, the weekend tends to start a little earlier than Sunday, and of course, Graham and Sandra Ross, with their little pots and all their knowledge about those green things which I have in my garden, which I know nothing about, are on Saturday morning between 6 and about 9ish with their little MasterCard and their pot plants and their compost. They just know so much. I hate them. Sorry.
Let's go up to Leichhardt. Good morning, Blanche.
Good morning, Sandra.
How can we help?
I've got this plant that's a very thick grey leaf, very, very strong leaf. It just has a nigger brown scallop around the edge.
What we call in the gardening game a squat pot, either plastic or terracotta. It's a little squat pot. It's sort of as deep as it is, shallow, as wide, I should say.
Isn't this lovely? Please put all cups and dishes in the dishwasher. You see, we have cleaners from other countries who don't speak English, so they don't do anything. Anyway, I miss Graham and Sandra. I think they're talking about squat pots, and I hate to think what they are. I, of course, only listen to the commercials. And I love Graham and Sandra. They always got their MasterCard handy. Graham, can we buy that pot? Oh, yes, here's our MasterCard. We can, Sandra. They're lovely, aren't they? Now, of course, when anyone goes to pick up squat pots, whatever they are, or whatever, in Australia, we don't use public transport, we use cars. And what we need is an expert to tell us which cars to buy and which ones not to buy. His name is Will Hagan. He's been around for so long, and he does it on the radio with good friend Malcolm Elliott.
You're motoring with Will Hagan and Malcolm Elliott on 2GB News Plus.
Good morning, and we're here for Hatchback World until 10 today on 269 0669. That's our number, 269 0669, if you'd like to speak to Will Hagan, and we're here for Hatchback World.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about today, as we always have. One of the things that's emerging in recent times is the modern way to market cars, direct marketing. Instead of advertising for buyers, it's a case of prepare to be wooed.
For your comfort, they have tinted glass. All this is finished in cool white with contrasting woven grey cloth trim. It's a great snap. Have a look at it this weekend. Only $12,990. The rego number is RHN.
Where the hell is Bob Ryan when you need him? Are you there, Bob? Oh.
He won't come round and fix it for you, but he's sure got the answers. Bob Ryan on 2GB News Plus.
Yes, and here we are on 269 0669 if we can help with any of your building or home maintenance problems.
If I do paint it, later on I want to put tiles down, would it affect the tiling?
It can do, but I'll tell you what, we've got a man right here, Eric Henson's from the Sellies. He's the Technical Services Manager of Sellies, and in a minute we'll be talking with him anyway, and he might have something to add to this, so keep listening for just a minute. But meanwhile, my guess is that you can paint as long as you use a good hard wearing paint. You might never want to tile, you know, Liz.
Right.
But the likes of Burgess Jet Dry, Feast Watson, of course, are good, and also Duralex, I think they're still in the paint business.
Right.
They're the sorts of people that you look to for these heavy-duty industrial paints, the sort of thing that they put on factory floors and on the roads in order to, to get long life out of them with heavy traffic.
Thank you, Bob. That's Bob Ryan. Repairs around a house, but of course you've got to have a house first before you can repair it, and that's where Paul Hodges, points, my mate.
Hello, Clive.
Hello, Paul.
We're actually
Get
on
off.
the air at the moment.
That's good. That's good.
We're talking
Paul has got a program between midday and 1 each Saturday, which talks about real estate, doesn't it, Paul?
Yes, it does. It's called Sydney's Homes, and a guest like Kate, for example, here, who's a real estate expert, can give us all the good oil on what to buy, when to buy, what to look for. For example, summer's a wonderful time to buy a home, isn't it, Kate?
Oh, absolutely. It's the best time.
Why?
Because, first of all, you've got extended hours because of daylight saving, so you can view it from early in the morning till late in the evening.
You can also see things that you mightn't have necessarily seen with a house, structural
Oh,
problems or whatever.
absolutely,
Because
absolutely.
there's lots of daylight.
Lots of daylight and lots of sunshine, and from the owner's point of view, they can show off the house to its best
yes.
because the sun's shining through the windows and it looks brighter and summery, and the gardens are better as well.
This program, of
springtime.
course, features people like Kate, who are real estate experts, but also legal people, finance people, home decorating people, you name it. Whatever you need to know about Sydney's Homes, we'll tell you between midday and 1 here, Saturday afternoons on 2GB News Plus. Plus, of course, your clients And I'm sure amongst those categories that I've just mentioned, you have a number of clients will be participating in the program, passing on their expertise, and of course selling their wares and their experience. Sydney's Homes, midday till 1, Saturdays here on 2GB News Plus, part of summer.
And thank you, Paul Hodges. Thank you. Good old Paul. I like Paul. I often hear him midnight to dawn. One place I want to go to whenever I get time off and the money's Monument Valley, and I'm pleased to say Ronald Connolly, our travel expert, is here. What's it like at Monument Valley, Ronald?
It must be nice, Clive, because I've never been there.
It's lovely. Look at it. Look at it. Beautiful.
The cloud formation is marvellous. It's one place that I will go to before the end of the summer. We've got this U-Butte travel program, 1 till 2 o'clock every Saturday afternoon, and we will go to Monument Valley.
It's not too yuppie though, is it? Because we're in troubled times,
It's
aren't we?
not very yuppie at all. It's fairly Indian.
Is it?
Fairly basic.
And what else are you doing on the program? You said giving a lead in.
Well, Clive, we're going to do everything. We're going to take people all around the world, tell them how to get there, most importantly, tell them what to do when they get there. We'll give them some information on airline schedules, how they're going, what are the best deals that are going. And if there aren't deals like Monument Valley, we'll probably invent a few. And generally, we will just make this a U-Butte travel show, the best travel show in Sydney, 1 o'clock till 2 o'clock every Saturday afternoon.
And that last group you took were backpacking around Turkey. Do you ever hear from them again?
No, I didn't. They went away for a while, and I thought, well, perhaps we'd leave them until they get back in touch. I have told them to call me.
Ronald Connolly, quick on his feet, isn't he? Now, Bobby Lim is going to be on 2 to 6. Picture of him here. This is a lovely photo taken in the 30s. He scratched out 1927 and put 1995 on it, 93. That hasn't fooled anyone, Bobby. Where are you?
I'm at Inverell. I'm at Inverell in New South Wales. We're doing a concert tour.
Now, what are you doing between 2 to 6 on Saturday, you said, asking a leading question.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because that's what we've got to get on to. Between 2 and 6 on Saturdays, I'm very excited about it, is a program that we're calling Bobby Lim, Sinatra and Friends. And the idea, of course, is that we're going to play the vintage music of Nat King Cole and all that. You see, I grew up with big bands and with saxophones, Clive, and so all the singers of that time, a lot of the numbers, it's great to see them all coming back again now. I mean, I went to see the other day, that Hot Shoe Shuffle with David Atkins, and all the music's what we're going to play in the program.
And how can advertisers get involved? Do they just don't have a spot because it's all sold out, Bobby?
Well, that could be a problem. That could be a problem, I must admit. But the thing is, we're going to talk about, for argument's sake, we're going to talk about fashions of when the big bands were playing, going back in the 40s and 50s, which are all coming back, incidentally, a lot of the fashions.
Well, thank you, Bobby. We've got to go. You're a rare gem. Bobby Lim. Isn't he lovely, isn't he? Now, because he's not the only person who's allowed to play music. Every now and then, when the speech has died down here, I play records.
Hey, what are they playing?
Oh, hello,
Mr. Robertson, sir, this stuff is too new. It is too new. There was no music written since Gershwin, nor played since Gooden.
You knew Gershwin, didn't you?
Went to school.
Yes.
Not only that, Marconi and I joined radio in the same year.
Did you? What happened to him?
Only to find that Howard Craven beat us by 18 months. It's a whole story. On Saturday nights, if it is of any interest to you, I shall be playing some old music, but much older music than that. I've got a few old 78s. We have recordings of radio commercials from 1936. I think I recorded them. I'm not very sure about this, but mostly we are doing talking to people about current events, things they want to know about. We argue with people. It is said.
What's this we? Suddenly it's we. It's you that argues.
No, they argue too.
Oh, they do.
Yes. If everything goes right, we have 1.25 rat bags per hour, and depending upon low tide of the Parramatta River or full moon, we might even get a few more. Nevertheless, we talk to people for 6 hours, and it seems to go.
You're all right, aren't you?
Yeah, speaking of seems to go, I think I will. And furthermore, when the clock on Saturday nights gets up to midnight, I say, as I'm about to say to you, Mr. Robertson, sir, I've had the last word. Goodbye.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have.
That's John Pearce, the one and only. We couldn't afford two of them. I'm going to ignore the phone in the background. Now, that's Saturday for you, and of course Sunday, Graham and Sandra Ross with their master car will be digging through little pot plants. And if you're feeling crook because you did weird things on Saturday, remember there's Trish Goddard.
And a very good and very beautiful morning to you. Actually, it's Trish Goddard flying solo today, but we'll have fun nevertheless. All right, today, safety first for yachties. So if you're listening from a boat, some things you should think about out there. New cases of asthma are on the rise, especially amongst school children in rural New South Wales. So we talked to Dr. Craig Mellis about how to tell if your little one is suffering from asthma and how to manage it, or how to teach your little one to manage it.
Well, I've got to say, these things are not considered healthy at all. I think either from the point of view you become a victim to these stupid things, and also the radiation and what have you on your trish. I recently gave up computers after 10 years of struggling trying to invent someone else's wheel. I'm no longer interested. However, the world keeps going despite my protestations, and the fabulous Ian McRae, who I knew in the 70s, on your Ian McRae is doing a computer program on Sundays. So I'm going to log off, and Ian, you can log on. See ya, Ian.
Well, I'm just reconnecting here, Clive, because this is a pretty exciting new project. It's called Computer Connection. It's a 1-hour radio program designed for everybody, not just the dyed-in-the-wool computer buffs or ex-buffs such as yourself. It's an exciting program. It's chock full of information. It's got a pace which is really entertaining. And of course, the most important thing is all the news comes to you first on this program from the man who gets it first, computer journalist Gareth Powell. 11 o'clock till midday on Sundays, right here on 2GB for the Computer Connection. Be connected.
That's very good, Ian. I'm sorry, I've missed what you've said, Ian, about computers. You know, my disinterest. This is the bloke at the garage said an idiot can fix this. He gave me a bit of paper. It's written in crayon, and I can't find anything to which he refers. I mean, I told him it was a Ferrari, and I can't understand it. Thank goodness we have Paul Hodges and his home mechanic. I, for one, will be listening, Paul.
Clive, don't worry, we'll look after you. The Home Mechanic, Sundays between midday and 1. Now, it's a perfect opportunity for you, if you're like me who knows nothing about motor vehicles, to be able to ring up an expert and find out what the problem is about your car. If you're someone who dabbles in cars and you want to get your car working better, well, we'll have the experts here and a whole range of experts, including Jeff. Now, for example, Jeff, last week we had a caller who had a ping in the motor of their car and they really didn't know what it was. What should they do?
Right, well, the best thing for them to do is to, if it's pinging very badly, it could be a major problem. So the best thing to do is to take it to a motor mechanic to have a look at.
Yeah.
But it could be a number of things. Obviously, it could be tappets, which are causing a pinging sound or a rattling sound, or it might just need some oil in it. So what you need to do is check the oil level of the car.
So the bottom line is, any strange noises, take it to the mechanic, don't muck around.
Although it could be something minor, it could be something very major as well. So the best thing to do is take it to a licensed motor mechanic.
Yeah. So the bottom line is, if you want to know anything about cars, we will have the experts here between midday and 1.
Oh, there you are. Now, because it's a real problem, even though we live in the fabulous New South Wales, that we can become parochial. We just think that all that happens is what happens in 100 miles of our home, or what happens in New South Wales or Australia. However, that is not the case, as you well know. It is now a global village. What a great title for a program. And the fabulous Les Thompson, who's been a people watcher for a long time, will be presenting the Global Village on Sundays between 1 and 2.
Yes, it is a global village. And as 2GB News is the basis of our entire format, we're able to use the worldwide resources to bring you a Sunday news program between 1 and 2 o'clock each Sunday afternoon. And it's a program about the news stories, the human stories, and the lighter moments as well. It's really about people and places and the way they go together in our ever-changing society. I hope you can join me for the Global Village. And we're all so close, really, aren't we? I mean, you just have to pick up one of these and you can speak to just about anyone.
Thank you, Lisa. That was very good. A Global Village name. Not yours? It works? It works. Thank you. Les Thompson with the Global Village. Now, music has crept into this station. I'm not resisting it at all. And who did it? But Paul Hodges. Paul, hey, how are you expecting to play music on the station?
Well, Clive, we're News Plus. News Plus means...
Good point.
Means
plus anything.
Plus anything. And news and current affairs and lifestyle programming, that's part and parcel of what we'll be doing between 2 and 6 on Sunday afternoons throughout summer in the sounds of your life.
You'll enjoy that, won't you?
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
Yes, I will.
What sort of music?
Well, there's a whole lot of music. I guess if you look at our age, we grew up through a wonderful era transcending, I suppose, from the Sinatra era into rock and roll, into all that's happened since. And look, I just happen to have some examples. I brought some with me. Can I show you some of them?
Yes, you can.
Well, for example, I know one of your favourites is Julio.
God, he's sweaty. You know how sweaty he is?
No, I've never been that
He really
close.
sweats all the time.
Yes. So we'll have some Julio.
Yes.
Some classics, like Roy Orbison, for example.
Orbison.
Yeah, the
Blind
music,
since birth.
the music that that we grew up with. Patsy Cline.
Decline now.
Some wonderful trivia questions about her. One of your favourites, I know, Elvis from the Heart. Now we're playing some of that. Yeah, look, one of the biggest selling artists of all time. You know, in fact, the biggest selling recording artist in 1970 was Neil Diamond. Hot August Night. Some classic music off that. You know, we're looking at anyone who's our age who can remember that music. And music has this wonderful ability to be able to take you back to a different place and time, doesn't it, Clive? And we'll look at that on Sunday afternoons, because it is called The Sounds of Your Life. Not only that, we'll be looking at the news that's occurred over the years. 2GB, Macquarie Network News, it's been the place that people have always listened to find out the news. We have wonderful archives.
So you'll be nostalgic.
Also, we'll be looking at the golden days of radio.
Golden days.
This is where it all started.
These are the golden days now.
Well,
I think you're helping to make these the golden days. Don't put yourself down.
Well, okay,
let others do it.
There is, thank you. There is this is the second era. The first era with the likes of Jack Davey and Bob Dyer. Wonderful stuff, and it emanated from here. We have wonderful access to it, so we'll be featuring that as well. Nostalgia, the sounds of your life. Sunday afternoons between 2 and 6 here on 2GB News.
And what happens after 6?
It's the Oracle.
The Oracle.
Yes.
Have you got an oracle?
I am the Oracle of radio, sir, yes.
Good, I'm so glad to hear that.
I thought you would be, because that's opposed to the Oracle in the original one in Greece,
Yes.
because that Oracle was a Sheila.
Yes, I know.
Good. Well, I thought you were a knowledgeable person, yes.
But at least the oracle in Greece used to give you the right answer.
Oh, no, not always.
Always?
No, the Oracle told people what they wanted to hear.
No.
Well, I'm sorry, you don't know your Greek mythology as well as you might, sir.
Well, that's Mr. Pearce for you. We now go from the irreverent to the reverend, from the patient to the doctor. As we speak to our boss, or as our boss speaks to us, he gets to the heart of the matter. The Reverend Dr. Gordon Moyes.
Now I want to talk to Neville Kirkwood. Neville has just written a book that I've seen in this last week. It's called The Hospital Handbook of Multiculturalism and Religion. We've got quite a significant chapter, for example, on the Jehovah's Witnesses. Now that's always a touchy one.
Yes, particularly in hospitals, and most hospital staff are wary as to what they should do, and perhaps sometimes they get unnecessarily angry and aggressive towards them.
Yeah. Okay, well, how much is your book?
It's $6.95.
And who publishes it?
It's the Millennium Press of Sydney.
And where is it available?
It's available at most bookstores.
And who should buy it?
Well, anyone involved in dealing with patients in a hospital.
Well, that's a book I want to commend to you, particularly to the person who goes in regularly and visits a hospital, perhaps on behalf of a church or a parish, bring a bit of cheer and comfort for those who are in our various hospitals. It gives you a bit of background so that you might understand well what is happening with the people of different cultures, different religions and different faiths.
That was the Reverend Dr. Gordon Moyes, BSA and sidecar, stereogram and bar. And while he's looking after God's business, I feel sure that he can look after your business as well as your clients. It looks like a terrific summer, doesn't it? It really does. What a great lineup. What a lot of thought has gone into this. This isn't your usual sort of Muzak radio. This is thought radio, thought-provoking. And just to remind you of the station, in case you've gone out to the wee-wee land, 2GB. For everyone.